Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Happy Friday afternoon, or Saturday morning, depending where you're tuning in from. Hey, Brother Mick couldn't join us this week. He had some commitments that he was doing with his property. So I went and got Uncommon Among the Uncommon. I brought in some absolute total rock stars here, the Turbo Home Buyers. These two young gentlemen have started a movement. It's not just a company. It's not just anything. It's a movement in the real estate industry. I'm so incredibly excited, and I'm really so thankful for you guys for making the time. I couldn't believe that you were available on such short notice. So first of all, I want to thank you guys, and Brandon, Mauricio, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have you guys here. A little bit about what you guys are, who you guys are, what you do. I understand that there's, it's you do something in real estate that's a little bit different. It's not necessarily the typical real estate that you guys do. So you do a little something different. We're definitely going to get into that to understand a little bit more about that. But first of all, right, maybe tell us, and whoever wants to go first can go first, whether it's Brandon, whether it's Mauricio, either of you guys, but a little bit about, who you are and kind of why you do what you do. What got you into this aspect of real estate?
You can go ahead, Mo, if you want.
Oh, we can rock, paper, scissors if you want.
Let's get
it. Yeah. So, actually, I've been in real estate about 3 years now. Prior to this, I was actually a truck driver. I drove a cement truck around town, and I feel sorry for the people that were next to me driving around because I was, that one guy with ADHD, like squirrel, But I was driving around, and I started making a little bit of money. And I was like, man, for the first time ever, I'm making a little bit of money, and I want to see what I can do with this money, right? So I started learning about stocks and all this stuff, and pretty soon I kind of went around town and found out about real estate. The different, real estate is a big, massive pie, and all the different chunks and pieces that you can do with it. So I started getting into that, and actually, my sister, Emmy, shout out to Emmy, she introduced me to Audible because I wanted to get into reading books while I was working, but it's not like I can get a book and, put it right in front of my face while I'm driving. So I got into Audible, and one of the first books I got into was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think a lot of real estate investors can say the same thing about that book. That's kind of what got them into it. And I started listening to him, and more, started learning all these different awesome exit strategies of how we can make money, right, and create a lasting legacy for us and our family, but how we can help other people do the same as well, with no money out of our own pocket as well. So, which really hit home because my dad was into real estate growing up. He was actually a builder. He was a builder I wouldn't say by mistake, but he just jumped into it. I remember he worked construction, and he met a flipper who, we lived in California, and the flipper, I think, was doing like 100 houses at home or something, 100 houses a year. And the flipper's like, yeah, it's easy. You could do this, and that. And my dad's like, oh, sweet. So he knew a little bit about building. So he actually, he wasn't an architect or anything. He made his own plans. He saw somebody else's plans, and monkey see, monkey do, kind of learned a little bit about it, took it to the city. And, he always tells me the story how you see all these experienced people taking their plans to get approved by the city, because every time you want to build, you got to get approved by the city. And he would always, he said all these people got denied. And him in his head, he's like, I'm going to get denied. He put it there, and first time approved. It's like, that's the first time he ever did it and never studied, right? So built the house. I believe this was like 1993 or something. I'm not too sure what I just barely was born, right? But something happened with the real estate market that kind of took a downturn. And his first experience, it wasn't too great, because instead of fixing it up and selling it at a high profit, he had finished it. It stood on the market for the longest time and couldn't do much with it. So we ended up having to move into the house, and we lived there for a couple of years and kind of move forward. Right. And time passed by, we sold the house. We ended up moving to Nebraska, right here in Omaha, and he had the opportunity to do it again, right? So he bought a couple properties, rental properties, and just kept it going, right? Somebody that had no knowledge of anything just knew the idea of having something physical and a physical property and making something of it, right?
Mhm.
So he's awesome. He did that, and I took that, and I was like, wow, I want to expand that so I can help him, and we can help our family grow and do better, right, for our legacy. So because of him, and because of seeing him and his struggles and doing it, I was like, I want to learn more just to help out, and luckily I was able to do that, right? So that's kind of my story as to why I got into it and the reason behind it. So
I love
That's
that.
awesome, man.
Thank you for sharing. Right.
Yeah.
What's really great about that is it's I've seen a lot of people out there. Of course, I worked with people all over the world, thousands of people, and I've seen those people that just get into something because, oh, it's the next great thing. Oh, I read a book and it told me to go ahead and do this so that I could make a bunch of money. I'm hearing something really different with your story, right? I'm hearing some real legacy going on there. It's something your dad did, right? It's something and you watched him. And I mean, was your dad successful in a lot of those ventures? Did everything just flow beautifully and that's how you got into it because, he made millions of dollars and you just carried that on? What was it like?
not at all, actually. It was I guess in his eyes it was a failure, right? And I guess I never see things as failures, right? There are always opportunities to grow
Nice.
from and to keep going, right? But he's old school, right? But I saw that, and I saw an opportunity to grow from it. And he ended up selling his portfolio, and he's retired now in Mexico, living La Vida Loca, right? But he ended up selling all that. He's not into it anymore, but just pretty much wanted to keep growing from that. So
Nice. You saw something in that moment. You really saw something in what your dad was doing. And it's like, you know what? I can do that. Right. And I believe that many things happen for us exactly when they need it, right? You getting into Audible, right? Having your sister go along and say, look, get this Audible. You picking up Robert Kiyosaki's book, getting into it, learning that stuff and saying, you know what? I'm going to put 1 and 1 together and I'm going to make 10. Right. That's really what you guys are doing right now. Mo, thank you for sharing that. Brandon, your story. What was it that got you to this place where you're just crushing it out right now, being a part of this amazing dynamic duo of Turbo Home Buyers? What was it for you? What's your origin story?
Yeah, well, kind of what got me started into this journey of real estate is I was in college at the time, and I so happened to take a course of financial literacy. And at the time, I was also working at a body shop, auto collision, fixing crashed cars, things like that. And in that class, it talked about, investing, stocks, IRAs, all that good stuff. And they briefly talked about real estate. And out of all the topics that we had in that classroom, real estate was the one that kind of like got me thinking, got me turning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why. I just always been a very curious person, but for some reason that really stuck with me, right? And from there, I started just kind of just deep diving into it. What is real estate? What is this? What is that? And the more I dove into it, it's funny that Mo says Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that was one of the books that I read. My first book ever in my life outside of school that I read. Because the people that I was watching, the stuff that I was consuming myself with, they were recommending that book to kind of get an idea. Mm-hmm. So I read the book and I was like, man, I gotta hop on this train of financial freedom, man. Like, I don't want to be the poor dad, especially since seeing, that's kind of what we've seen our whole life, right? I was like, there has to be more to this, right? I see my mom, I see my dad, I love them to death, but they're just in that rat race, and for some reason that clicked in my mind, and I was like, there has to be more. There has to be more than just this. And it's like just Mo's journey. It's more than just money. It's about, man, like I just want to spend more time with people that I love. How can I do that? And through and by the grace of God, real estate was that vehicle. So after that, I went into YouTube University, right? I was 18 at the time, and I just started watching a crap ton of videos. What is this? What is that? And I stumbled upon a video that says how to make money with no money in real estate. And of course I watched it because I was like, I'm 18. I don't got thousands of dollars. How am I gonna buy a house? So I started watching those videos, got an idea, came across this term wholesaling, started educating myself more on that, and then I ended up going to a seminar in town. It was a 3-day seminar where they try to upsell you, things like that. I did it. I was asking everybody, hey, how could an 18-year-old get in real estate with no money? Everybody just kept saying wholesaling and wholesaling and wholesaling. After that, I was like, all right, it's game time. Let's get it. This is gonna be it for me. And it's funny because before hopping on to this call, I was telling Jamie how I'm over here in Colorado now. I took a trip to Vegas, and Alondra just pulled up an image on her phone of a text that I sent her back in 2019 when I started my journey. I sent her a video and was like, "This is it, babe. This is gonna be our gateway to freedom." And as you can tell, I rep that all day, freedom, right? And I took a court. I watched that seminar, and after that, I reached out for help to a local investor here in the area. I was eager to learn. I wanted to get done. I wanted to get this rocking and rolling just because I'm all about action. I took that leap of faith, got it happen. I actually think I paid him like $2,000, which at that time was a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
18-year-old, 19-year-old, that's a crap ton of money. So I paid him that, and 6-7 months later, I got my first deal, and I was like, all right, let's get it. It's time to change the legacy.
Yeah. I love that. Look at the commonalities here, right? We're going to talk about how you guys got together, really what the big purpose, what the big mission of Turbo Home Buyers is. But look at the similarities, right? Now, did you guys know each other? Like, were you guys friends and stuff like that? How did that all come together? Like, what's that all about? Like, how did you two connect?
That's a good birds of a feather flock together type of question.
Yeah.
It's funny. I guess we can both tell the story, but I went through kind of the same. I think Brandon went through a different 3-day seminar, but Rich Dad Poor Dad, they had seminars too. They came into town, and it's a whole upsell spiel, and I got into it, right? So one of the things they told me was throw some signs out on the street, some buy houses signs, and see who calls, right? So I threw some out. But I was so nervous. I was so nervous at the time that I was throwing them out in a way to where people couldn't see them.
Haven't we all done that in business? Like, seriously, it's like, is it good enough? Can I put it up? Is it going to? Yeah, I get that.
So it was just a thing of just take action. All right. Nobody can see that. Perfect. We'll put it right here, right? So I remember, a couple of days passed, or maybe a week passed, and I started noticing a lot of other signs being put up, and I noticed a couple of them in really good spots that says Brandon buys houses. Now, Brandon, the fuck would put their name on there, I'm sure it's an alias for something, right? Anyways, I forgot about it, and as a matter of fact, I was driving by that sign, and I was looking at that sign when I got a call. And I had it routed through a different number. So when I got a call from that number for my signs, I knew it was for the signs. So right off the bat, I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, it's one of my first calls. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to act professional? Like, I was scared, right? But I said, I just got to do it. I answered, put my big boy pants on. I said, this is dope. And then you get this other guy on the other line. Hey, you guys buy houses? I was like, yeah, yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, he's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, I buy houses too. Sweet. I was like, what's your name? He's like, my name's Brandon. I was like, you're not that Brandon buys houses guy, are you? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm looking at your site right now as we speak. But I asked him because at this time, the only way to make money in a way, right? The easiest way was wholesale. I said, "Are you a wholesaler?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you?" I said, "Yeah." So that's how that started. We through some bandit signs, and him calling me, we connected, and then I think we went to go get some lunch from there to talk and get to each other, and the rest is history. We didn't
partner up right away after that.
Oh, do tell.
So we ended up pretty much having lunch that day. I convinced him to meet me. He didn't want to, right? I was just kidding. We had lunch, and pretty much I was just trying to sell him to be my partner at the time. Yeah. And unfortunately, he denied me.
Shot down.
Yeah. I remember we went on a date. We went to go get some ice cream, I was going to woo him.
He's not lying.
We did go to an ice cream shop and talk real estate there. And I was like, man, this guy's got a lot of energy. And then like we kept in touch for a little bit after that, and we just lost touch. But I remember we were friends on Facebook, and a couple months later, that was it, right? It was Brandon, right? A couple months later, I see that he posted a house on Facebook for sale. I said, no way, you got a house under contract, right?
Yeah.
And then I think later on he posted that he closed on it, and he was excited. I don't know when that was, Brandon, but that's when I called him to congratulate him. I said, it's awesome, you know, because I hadn't done a deal yet. Congratulations, man, that's freaking awesome. How'd you do it? He gave me all the details, and that's awesome. And then I think from then on we just kept in touch and started giving each other ideas as to what we've been up to, what works, what doesn't work. And really that's when we started talking more. We didn't become partners yet, right? We just became really good.
We were competition. We were helping each other out.
We were competition, and we were helping each other out, getting deals. Exactly. Oh, you got this deal? That's awesome. You know, I think I have somebody that might want to buy it. Here you go. Take them.
Right.
Yeah.
And seriously, how cool is that? Right? Two guys having that same passion, just an idea to really just kind of partner up, right? To not even partnership as of yet, just sharing that information back and forth. It's almost like you guys knew. It's almost like you know, subconsciously you knew something.
Yeah.
It was probably, you know, meant to be from the very beginning we met. And I think that's why we clicked so much together so much, because since then we were competition and helping each other out. I was helping him get houses that I was marketing to, and vice versa. Who does that out here? Right? Yeah. Nowadays, everybody's like, you know, dog eat dog, you know, everybody for himself. But me and Mo didn't see it that way. We're like, dude, let's just grow together. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Whether we're different people, you know, different companies or not, you know?
Yeah. It's about the abundance mentality. And actually before I met Brandon and everything, the one who got me to get into Rich Dad Poor Dad and all that was my sister Emmy. Mm-hmm. And she always pushed me. And I remember when they came up and they, you know, this great opportunity to change your life and this and that. And it was like, I think it was like $30,000 to sign up. And I had the money at the time, right? I was working as a truck driver, and I wanted to put it into real estate. And I had an opportunity to buy a house. I was like, do I buy a house or do I buy this course to get many houses? Mm-hmm. But at the time, you know, I just want this house. So she said, bro, she says, there's opportunities in life. She's like, when there's opportunities, like you better take them. Don't slack off on them, because once you miss them, like they're gone. And she pushed me to do it, and I'm glad. You know, she's always pushed me for everything, and you know, here we are now to this day. She's still pushing me. So we went together, and you know, we started working together in the whole real estate, and then you know, we all got together, her, me, and Brandon, and then forgot what happened that we ended up going to a seminar, a conference in San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
Emmy couldn't make it, but it was just me and Brandon that went, and we met up with some big dogs over there, some real estate gurus. We were doing millions of dollars, and we asked them, like, man, what can we do to be like you, essentially? And they're like, what are you guys doing? I was like, well, this is what we're doing. They're like, I recommend you guys partner up.
Yeah.
Like, partner up? Like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why would I give him 50%?
Yeah.
If we're both good at the same thing, right? So we said, you know what? That's the advice. Let's just take action on it. What's the worst that can happen? And we partnered up, and we realized it was the best decision ever.
Yeah.
It made life a lot easier and the learning a lot better as well. So, we partnered up, and now we're doing good.
Yeah. Awesome. One of the things we noticed was like because we were sharing them our stories kind of about us, right? Our origin stories with them at the time. And they were like, are you guys in the same market? Yeah. Are you guys marketing the same list? Yeah. Are you guys competition? Yeah. What are you guys doing? Partner up. They're like, do you guys help each other? Yeah, we do. They're like, dude, what are you guys doing? Yeah. You guys have the same data in it. We just partner up. And Nemo were like, whoa. And, you know, we came back, and the first thing we did was like, put her there, man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And now when you look at the two of you, what you've accomplished, everything that you've done, I mean, it's pretty darn outstanding. It's pretty amazing. That partnership, it is, you know, I've had the good opportunity to kind of see some behind the scenes with you guys and all that, and to see how much you've flourished and how much you've grown. I mean, that's truly, truly amazing. If you guys could tell me, right, and don't worry, no big questions here. We're just having a conversation. It's a great conversation, right? But if you guys could tell me, like, what's it all for? If you had to say, you know what, Turbo Home Buyers is all about, what would you fill the blanks in with? What would you put in there? Like, why do you really do it all? I have a feeling, right? Sensing you guys, knowing you guys a little bit, and based on what you've shared in the show, I've got a feeling that it's definitely more than just money. It's not just about going out, making a buck, making a fast buck or something. I got a feeling there's something kind of big behind this. Can you share that with us?
Yeah. Well, I guess first and foremost, it's always been about financial freedom, right? But it's much more than that, right? We want to create a legacy for our families, like kind of what I was saying earlier with my dad, and I want to push it forward to my kids and whoever else wants to learn. But seeing the experience that my dad had on just buying houses and not knowing if it was a good deal or not, just jumping into it, made me want to learn so I can teach people who want to get into it the right way to buy.
Right.
My dad being an immigrant, not knowing as much English as he should, and doing this stuff, kind of put me in the position to want to help others who are in the same position, and that's what we do. We provide housing for people that either want to get into an investment or they just want to get into their own home.
Absolutely.
And we give them to them at prices to where if they want to make some money in the future, they can, and they can start growing their portfolios.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Now, you guys have been throwing around a word here, and it's kind of a little bit of an unfamiliar word. I mean, I've got a little bit of knowledge on it, but you've talked about wholesaling. Now, I'm just a regular guy. What do? I want to go buy a house. I go to realtor.com or I go to MLS.com, but you've dropped this word wholesaling in, and that seems to imply something different. Can you tell us about that? What's the difference?
Pretty much. So wholesaling pretty much is the art of getting a deeply discounted property, getting the equitable interest, and then just marketing it to somebody who is actively looking for properties that they want to flip themselves. And you just turn around and sell that equitable interest to an investor who's looking to flip or hold a rental, or even just live in the property for a profit, essentially. That's in layman's term, that's kind of what that is, wholesaling. It's just another exit strategy as opposed to fix and flip rentals, Airbnbs, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen some of the fix and flips. I mean, they got the stuff on TLC and all that sort of stuff. You got the couples there, the husband's doing the renos and the wife's buying and selling and all that sort of stuff. But again, this wholesaling thing, like, number one, like, how do you even find these properties? Is this like some secret society list that, a person has to get into and, pay those $30,000, $40,000 to get in? Like, how does a person even start to even understand this, to even get into it?
Well, I guess there's many ways, right? There's many ways, but I guess first and foremost, if it's an investment type of deal, there's many ways to make money even on pretty houses. But for the most part, you want to look for an ugly house, right? It's not just a house as well. It could be the person, their situation, and what they're going through, and how we can help. But one of the things I recommend when you're starting off is drive around town and look for those houses that look like they need some work.
Okay.
Drive for dollars, they call it. And you find those houses. Every county in America has a website, and you find these houses on this county assessor, and you find out who the owner is.
Okay.
It's a piece of mail. It's like, hey, I'm interested in buying your house, right? You find out their mailing address. Sometimes you can even find their numbers, right? I'm interested in buying your house. Pretty much what can we do in a way? See if can I help you in a way to purchase this house, or what is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to fix it yourself? I know contractors, I can connect you with them. The point is the house is in distress, and it's an eyesore for everybody. We got to do something with it, right?
I like that. I really like that, and I can see the massive opportunities. What I like that you shared there as well is, hey, maybe I can put you in touch with some contractors. Maybe I can help you out. It doesn't sound right to me, and I mean, I'm not in the industry. I'm not a realtor, nothing like that. But it doesn't sound like it's something where you're going to come in and just try to, lowball me or do something like that, take advantage of my situation. I mean, hey, I don't know, maybe I got some back taxes. Maybe, you know, something's happened in my life. Hell, maybe I'm going through divorce. I mean, myself, I went through a divorce, and I know what that was like going through that. And I kind of would have liked to seen something better, because I mean, we took probably, God, $150,000 hit. Now the market had gone down, so it was a significant hit. Yeah. Right. And I ended up coming out with absolutely nothing. Right. And just, that's just the way it worked out, just the way it is. Yeah. But really, ultimately, you know, if there could have been a better way or something like that, do you guys get into situations like that? Do you help people in those situations?
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
All the time. I mean, divorce situations, houses that are just been vacant for so long, people don't want to deal with them anymore. Probate, you know, inherited properties, all that stuff. There's so many different ways to avenues of helping people, right? Like there's so many situations going on in life, so many scenarios that people are just looking for an answer to their problem, and many people don't know what to do, right? People just, these are the people in the property that typically won't fit traditionally on the with an agent. You can't list them on the market. They need a little bit more work and things like that. So, you know, as a seller, they're like, well, what do I do? Do I just lose the house? And like, you know, in your scenario, do I just cut my losses and call it good? Or is there another way? And that's where we step in.
Wow. Yeah. I like that. Right. That's definitely something. And it's not really something you hear a lot about. Is this like an underground secret society, or is this like what's the scoop? Why don't we hear about this more?
I think it's coming to light more and more, kind of what is done, right? A lot of times there's negative feedback on it because people don't really understand. They think we are vultures. They think we're trying to get in and try to lowball people and screw them over on things. But the thing is that they don't understand that this is just another strategy. Yeah. In what the conventional, traditional way is of just getting a realtor percent to sell your house, and then paying for inspections, and then paying for repairs if inspections happen, and then paying for costs to the buyer. And there's so many fees associated with using that.
And having to wait 60 plus days for it to sell, right?
Yeah. Every avenue has its benefits, though. It's not. Sometimes we work with people who it doesn't make sense for us to work with them. We're very selective on the people we work with because we're not there to take advantage of people. You can easily take advantage of people in this aspect, right? So we ask them, like, well, how much are you asking for your house? Oh, this and that. Well, it doesn't need any work at all, really. You know, you can sell this house on the market for more, right? Oh, really? Yeah. You need help?
So wait. I got to interrupt you there, because what I'm hearing here is something really interesting. What I'm hearing here is that you will actually, I don't want to say push is the wrong word, guide people towards going into something versus not wholesaling. You would actually guide people into using a typical realtor or something. Well, that's really interesting. Why would you guys do that?
Because why not, right? It's literally another solution they have to whatever, you know, fits their current situation, right? And it just it's truly being honest, like, hey, listen, you do know you could, like most saying, your house is in good condition, you can list it on the market, make more money. You can keep it as a rental. You know, the house is vacant, needs repairs, Mr. Seller, we can help you. We can help connect you with some contractors who will help you fix this property up. You need a loan, we can help you. And then usually when they shoot down all those other options, because they're like, you know what, I just want to be done with it. I just want to move on with my life. They're like, okay, this is the other solution. Does it make sense? Yes. All right, let's move forward.
Wow. See, that seems really, really different than what I might expect. You know, when I see wholesale, and sorry, auto industry people out there, I love y'all. But when I think wholesale, like, right, that used car salesman kind of comes to mind. But Brandon, what I'm hearing you say is something very, very, very different to that. Right, you're actually exhausting a lot of the opportunities with people before you get into that. It's not you just coming in and, you know, lowballing right away, getting the best deal, you know, making the most profit. That's something really interesting. Why do you guys choose that approach?
We choose that approach because I think Mo and I think we've all been in a scenario, whether it be with ourselves or with our parents, where we get taken advantage of.
Oh man,
and none of us like to do that, right? I've been in a situation where my mom's been taken advantage, and I couldn't do anything at the time, and you're like, no, this is not fair. Knowing there's another solution, and not giving it to somebody. We've been in those scenarios, and we're like, no, let's disrupt that system. Let's be different. Let's actually give people options and solutions, and have them pick which one fits them.
Wow.
You know. That's kind of what we believe in. Just which is why we're so big on even our guys. People in our team are like, hey, like, because if you think about it, these people are in vulnerable situations, right? Death, divorce, behind on payments. Like, that's messed up, man. That's sad. People are in this situation, but people who just want to be done, we're there to help them. Like, hey, this is how we can help you. Which way makes the most sense? Take your time.
You guys are making me all emotional right now. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, that's seriously a beautiful thing to do.
It is. We tell someone all the time, hey, so let's sit down. What is the problem? We literally, look at the problem together. We look at it. We're like, okay, how are we going to do this together?
Yeah.
Because this is what you're going through. This is kind of what I'm understanding. This is how we're going to get you over that. What seems to make the most sense for you at this point in time? And many people just do it right away. Accept my offer, take it or leave it. We don't do that. Take your time. What's the best? Which one makes the most sense? Or this one does? Let's do it.
Wow. I love hearing that. Yeah. Love hearing that. That's definitely a different perspective on business. And I mean, I'm a big advocate of that. Like, I love those types of business practices where it's ethical, it's honest, it shows empathy, right? It shows those things because, let's face it, not always is the sale of a house a really good thing. I mean, we think of it as, oh, hey, I'm selling this house and I'm upgrading to another house and it's all a beautiful bucket of roses. Right? It's not like that all the time, right? It's really, truly not. Sale of my very first house was awesome. I mean, I think I bought it for, I don't know, $90,000 or something like that. Ended up selling it for $160. Like, I did really good on that, and I sold it privately. So I made good coin. That was a great experience. But when I had that other house, I lost like $150,000 on, right? Because, divorce and all that sort of thing. That was a pretty shitty time in my life. I'm not going to lie. Right. You guys having that empathy, if you guys were there, because all I knew of at the time was, hey, typical real estate agent, this is just the way it's done. You have to take the offer. It's just the way it is. Right. Had I known something different, right? Maybe that's why I'm getting all emotional about this, because it's like, wow, if I would have known you guys back then, this could have been something that would have been a very different situation.
Yeah.
Right. So I love hearing that about you guys. Right. Like, seriously, high fives to you guys for really putting that out there and really being, I guess, as our friend David Goggins would say, uncommon among the uncommon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's really, truly what I'm picking up here. And that's really, truly what I'm hearing here. I love that. Now, there's another word that's come up that you guys have shared, and I've heard it a couple of times here: investing and investment. I'm a little bit curious about that. How does that all fit in? Again, hey, here's me, the uneducated guy. All I know, realtor.com. No one talks about investing, investment, anything like that.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that side? What does it look like? What's that all about?
Sweet. Yeah. So I guess we can do a bunch of different things, but a lot of things that we like to focus on is two things, right? The wholesale side, we provide opportunities for investors to make money on some properties, right? To make something pretty and sell it to somebody who actually wants to live in a nice house and make some money at the same time, right?
So how do you do that? Give me an overview. Like, what does that look like? How do you do that?
So this is actually my first deal, and keep in mind, it took me 11 months to get my first deal. Yeah. It took me a long time, but it was satisfying when I got my first one. So I met this guy who, it was a house that was flagged by the city as violations. It was even flagged as being demolished by the city. The city was going to demolish his house. And this guy called me. I sent him a piece of mail, and he called me and he says, "Hey, I want to sell my house. I've talked to a couple of people already, and nobody's really interested in it because of this, that, and blah, blah, blah." I said, "Okay, well, let me see if I can help you." I said, "Look, me personally, I'm probably not going to take this on. It's a big project. It was a small house, but it needed a lot of work. It had fire damage, everything. It was hoarded. I'm not gonna be the one buying it, but I'm very connected to. I even said the Hispanic community. A lot of this Hispanic community has really mattress cash to buy houses, and they buy houses cheap so they can fix them up and they can live in them themselves. So a lot of times it's not even for investments. They're just saving up so they can have their own house to buy. A lot of times because they can't get approved by a bank to buy a house, so they have to buy cash. So we provide opportunities like that, right? So I posted it on Facebook. Very, very, very trashed house. I got nothing but negative comments. I wouldn't even take it if you paid me. I get stuff like that. I had one lady that said, I just went to go look at it. She said, I'll give you full price. I said, okay.
What?
Right? Yeah, perfect, right? So I went to meet up with her. I went to go get the deposit from her. But I felt bad because when I met her, she was a lady that looked like a normal lady, like my mom. Like this lady doesn't know anything about real estate. Like it's flagged by the city. It's gonna need permits. You're gonna need licensed contractors to do this job, not just Joe Schmo, your husband, that's gonna do the work little by little, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, I said, do you know that this, and it's a big project for one, do you know that this house has violations? She said, yeah. I said, do you know what that means? She said, yeah. I spoke to Steve Anderson already. I went to the city of Omaha. I boom, boom, this and that, and blah. She knew more about it than I did. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And so I said, boom, she qualifies. I'll sell it to her. Yeah. Sold it to her I think in a week, she bought it. A couple months later, she fixed it up. This one, she wanted to keep it for her daughter, but the market had gone up, so she decided to sell it. She ended up netting. She ended up netting like $90,000 profit in this house.
From a house that was going to be torn down, from a house that was scheduled for demolition, she ended up turning 90 grand from it.
Absolutely.
So this is where we all win, right? We grabbed the problem of this guy who didn't know what to do with his house. For one, he had cancer and he was going through treatments, and he couldn't go through it, unfortunately. But we took this opportunity where nobody wanted to buy this house from him. Not even an agent would touch it because it's such a low-priced house. You're not going to make anything when you put it on the market. And Absolutely. It went from that, right? And I'll give you the numbers. I told him, like, I can probably promise you 7,000. Yeah. And I can probably sell it to these other people, and I'll make them pay for my fee. So I ended up selling it to her for, I believe, $9,000. Okay. Right? So you don't hear that anymore. So ended up making $2,000, right? That's awesome. Yeah. She ended up putting it in, and I ended up finding out that her husband did all the work. Wow. And they have their ways around to just getting licensed contractors to sign off on things, and they know everything, right?
Yep. They're connected.
More than me. Very well connected.
She literally, she's old school. She has a leisure. And one day she came to the office, like, tell us about that deal. What did you do? She's like, oh, I paid my husband. She calls her husband her worker, her contractor. I paid him $17,023, like to the T. What did you get for materials? I paid $15,326 with 17 cents or something like that, right?
Wow.
And anyways, it ended up totaling, plus the purchase price, I think that the whole thing ended up being like 47 or 49,000 all in, and she sold it for 30, something like that.
Boom.
So,
and stopping you there real quick, Mauricio, because I'm sure somebody's thinking this question. Man, you two really took advantage of this guy. What if this guy would have made that $90,000 on this property?
That's a good question.
He really could have. But keep in mind, folks, to the story that Mo just mentioned, this guy was going through a really hard time in his life. The house was flagged by the city, was about to get demolished. So that means this house was probably sitting vacant for years beforehand. He had cancer, and I'm pretty sure Mo gave him like opportunities like, hey, you can fix this house, right? And do this, do that, and make this much amount of money. The guy said no.
Yeah.
So the guy said no. Says, okay, this is what we can do, and this is the opportunity that Mo was able to give to this buyer, because the buyer was willing to take on that risk. Yeah. Right? Because not to put in the repairs is quite a bit of money, and then to take the risk of the house might even sell or not. Who knows? Yeah. The city could have demolished it right when closing happened. Because that's something you don't know when that's going to happen. You have to be really, really well connected. So keeping that in mind, like, Mo took advantage of this guy, $7,000. Oh man, the seller sold it for $130. Yeah, but look at the value that he provided, because it's not just about the price or getting the most amount of money for your property, right? It's about really making sure you're providing the value you to the person. You're giving them their options, and you truly are offering there to be the like somebody who can help and guide them to what makes the most sense for them at the time.
Correct. Yeah. We always give him all the options from the start, and to top it off, he could have lost money if he would have done it by himself, because for one, he has all these things going on, health reasons, and if the city would have demolished it, the city would put a $20,000 lien on that piece of land.
Wow.
It's a little piece of crap land that once it's demolished, it's not worth more than $1,000 in that area.
Yep.
Now it's got $20,000. So if he wants to sell it, if he wants to build on it, whatever, he's got that piece of lien on it, right? He's got to owe that $20,000 debt. That who knows if he's got it to take care of it. So there's a lot of value provided in this type of work. And like I said, if this house was perfectly fixed up and he would have done it or whatever, list it on the market. You'll get the most out of it.
Yeah.
If you list it on the market.
I love that you guys make people aware of that you really show them that, you know what, there is another way. Look, we're not just trying to take advantage of you. We're not trying to be those typical ambulance chasers or whatever.
Right.
You know, we've all heard that terminology. I love that you guys provide those options. I think that's something that's really, really, really different. You, in a way, you educate your potential sellers and really give them all the information they would need to really make the right decision. Right? I love hearing that. To me, that's integrity in business. Right? That's real integrity in business. And I love hearing that. I mean, that vibes with me big time. Right.
Yeah.
We have we've eaten up all our time. Like we're going over, but I got one question though. Right. You guys have done very well. You guys have created some pretty awesome success. You've created some pretty massive success. When you look back at your journey, right? Brandon, you were saying, you looked at that text message from 2019. Here we're coming into 2022, and you guys have experienced some pretty massive success in that time. What would you say would be the, 1, 2, or 3 key things that have been responsible for that? I mean, I got to believe that integrity is one of them. Yeah. What else would you say? What else have been the keys for you guys to create this massive success?
I would say having really, really strong values. Having really, really strong values and putting in that work, taking action. Not maybe steps, baby steps. And lastly, asking for help.
Yeah.
I think those I don't know if Mo could agree to that or if he wants to add to that, but I think
please.
That has been one of the strongest components.
Yeah, I think asking for help is a really big thing, and to top it off, get yourself a coach.
Yeah,
really. My first coach was my sister. Now we have the pleasure of having Jamie.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that took us from here to over here and accelerating fast.
Yep.
Because they see your blind spots. They see your blind spots where you think you're perfect. You can become even more perfect. No ego.
Yep.
But
yeah. All of us, any great successful person. I mean, I've got a coach, right? I've got coaches. My coaches have coaches. That's one of the key things in this is to have someone that can see those blind spots. I think you guys really truly nailed it there. There's tons of stuff that we can't see, right? When we're in it, when we're right in that forest, damn, I can't find the trees. I'm stuck in this forest. Trees are all around us. Yeah. Right? And that's really what that coach is going to be able to do is help you find that. Look, I really, really want to thank you guys for your time today. I know you guys are busy. You guys, committing to this, and especially on such short notice. I just really want to thank you guys and let you know that I really appreciate you making this time to come onto the show here.
Thank you for having us, Jamie. It means a lot.
Definitely.
That was fun. Thanks for having us.
Excellent, guys. Again, yeah, and I know we're going to have you guys on again. We're going to get more wisdom, more knowledge shared out of you guys. Look, I want to thank all the viewers, all the listeners today for tuning in. It's been an absolutely great, amazing show, bringing this truly dynamic duo of Brendan and Mauricio of Turbo Home Buyers. Look, if you want to check these guys out, if you want to get a little bit more information, what's the best way for anyone to reach out to you guys to get some information? You guys have a website you want to share, anything like that?
As far as reaching out to us, I'm active on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook Brendan Lopez, Instagram you can find me at Brendan Flips Houses.
Perfect.
That's where I'm permanently more active on. So if anybody wants to reach out, that's where you can most likely will definitely find me there.
Outstanding.
Yeah, same here. Facebook, you can find me personally on Facebook, Mauricio Hernandez, and we can chat from there.
Excellent. Well, again, gentlemen, thank you very much. And until next week, have an absolutely outstanding week.